Hello, and welcome back to Warranty Chain Management Experience, a 2-day virtual event packed with content for the warranty providers and administrator community. Our second session will begin in a few moments, but first, here are a few items to note. I'd like to thank our sponsors for generously making this event possible. Also, we invite you to pose questions for the speakers in the Q&A box on the screen and use the chat box feature for general comments. Our next session is brought to you by PCMI and is titled How Adaptable Software and Third-Party Resources Can Help Manufacturers Improve Warranty Program Performance. I'd like to introduce our speakers, PCMI's President and CEO, 𝗪𝗞𝗜𝗣, and Rob Christian, President and Chief Risk Officer of OnPoint Warranty. Mark, a seasoned executive in the industry, has dedicated 30-plus years to developing software administration systems. He specializes in using his expansive knowledge to help customers establish all phases of their extended warranty programs, including sales, policy and claim administration, risk management, and offshore reinsurance within our PCRS software. Rob has spent 25 years in the warranty industry working for a variety of companies, including GE, Harbor Freight Tools, and Sears. He is also a founding partner of ServiceNet Solutions, which is now AIG Warranty. Rob holds a BA in marketing from the University of Kentucky and an MBA from the University of North Carolina. Now let's get started.
It's very exciting to be here today. Look forward to sharing some information with myself and Rob. And I think one thing we wanted to do to sort of frame the conversation is to keep talking about the consumer experience and how things are keep accelerating within for the actual consumer, right? So a couple of trends that we're seeing is that consumers really want to be able to focus on doing self-service repairs. They want to be able to get on and actually file a claim or find out what's covered or find out where they should take their item to get it serviced, right? So one of the focus we're really putting on a lot of the technology is letting the self-service component, in addition, obviously, calling up a call center. And if we can think about, all of us, obviously, with COVID, we're all using a lot more services where people are giving a status of when an item is being shipped to our house and when we can expect to receive it and when the delivery is. That expectation's also not been set for, if I'm getting a repair done on my refrigerator, where's my service tech? Or if I've got a replacement product be sent to me, how are you going to do real-time notifications so that people understand where they're at with the repair and how is that repair proceeding, and what can they do to keep informed of the experience. I think people's expectations just continue to increase, right? And a word we hear a lot of is the seamless experience. So, product registration, obviously sometimes it's automated from the point of sale. Other times people have to go out and physically register that they have the product and that they want to register themselves as a consumer, whether it's prior to the time of claim or servicing to get more information about the item. But the message is they want it to be seamless. They don't want to have to go to multiple places to be able to do it. And then we see a lot more trends in advanced customer service. And I think this is thanks to efficient technology. So if you're a manufacturer or what we call even a third-party administrator and you're trying to provide all the service, one of the things we wanted to share with you today is there are ways to do this without replacing your entire legacy ERP system, right? There's ways that you can get quick benefits out of some of these different areas. And that's what I thought, myself and Rob would talk a little bit about today. So Rob, do you see these consumer experiences happening more and more?
Absolutely, Mark. And, we do work across many different countries, and various countries are kind of handle these issues really differently. In some of our other territories outside the U.S., customers are even further along on wanting to have self-service and repairs, and everything's on the mobile device. That's really how a lot of other cultures communicate, especially like in Asia. But in the U.S. and in Canada, things are rapidly getting to those same points.
Well, and what we see is people want technology that works 7/24, right? They understand that maybe not everybody's open on Sunday, but they want to be able to get the status. They want to understand what's going on. They want to understand if something's been approved or not approved, or is there additional information that needs to be submitted to complete the eligibility, right? And we're just saying that from a consumer standpoint, I feel they're really upping the game of what is the expectation. And yet most people cannot afford to completely replace their entire ERP system that maybe they spent years putting it in. So obviously one answer is always, we'll just replace everything with the newest technology, which we're happy to help people do. But the other thing we found we've been able to do, and we're going to talk about in this presentation, what are some reasonable sized projects you can do to get all these additional benefits in 2021, right? So that's something that you can take back to your board and something you can talk to. So we think the solution, first of all, is have adaptable software, and PCMI is the software provider, right? As well as an administrator who can quickly help you get some of these additional benefits. Now, when we talk about adaptable software, one of the main things we strive is, can it work with your existing OEM solution, or can it work with some of the existing systems you have? So you're really able to identify what is the return on investment, what is the benefit I'm trying to get, and can we then add in the skill set of an administrator that can guide you through how to design one of these, or maybe actually support you in this functionality, right? And we put this combination together, we're just seeing a lot of success, right? And that's part of what we wanted to share with you today. So it's a combination of people, software, and process. So why would you do this? So the first thing is saving time. You know, we try and have projects where you can be in production in 6 to 9 months versus 2 to 3 years. So when you go to present to your management team, you know, how are you going to address these consumer issues? You know, we're going to talk about solutions you can actually do in months. And yes, we do have some projects sometimes where people say, no, the whole thing's got to be replaced. And yes, those can run 2 years. But more and more we're like, but how do we give you an immediate benefit in the first 6 to 9 months to help justify the project? So we're big believers on quick return on investments. So in all the projects PCMI do, we make sure we sit down with the operational team, the management team. You know, since we're software as a service, there is no large upfront capital expense. We basically work out of people's operating budgets. But a lot of times we can actually enhance the base system and augment it. And then Rob and his team can provide people and services around the specific solution, right? And then improving performance. So, you know, one thing is 100% cloud-based, which with what everything's happened with people working at home has been really helpful, right? Because people can access the system anywhere. Not only can you access the system anywhere, but the consumers can access it. They get their statuses, get their updates, and report how their experience is on these different areas, right? And then we specialize in warranty programs. I mean, PCMI, we call it the add-on industry. Sometimes it's extended warranty, sometimes it's prepaid maintenance, sometimes it's just service and logistics support people are using our solution for. But Rob, this return on investments, how quick can you see people getting a return?
Well, you know, Mark, I'm thinking, as you're talking, I've been thinking about my past experiences where I've been at an OEM, I've been on that marketing team or that ESP team, and thinking about the system that I had to deal with, especially at one, it was it had needed to be revamped, you know, many years prior to me even getting there, and that prevented us this gigantic project of needing to overhaul an ERP system so the various functional groups can really do what they need to do. Was daunting, and it was something that kind of paralyzed the organization for a number of years. And then once the ERP system the new one was finally selected and the implementation occurred, the implementation was very painful, and it took millions of dollars and a year. And then typically what happens is that each functional group will come back and say, well, I didn't really get everything that I need in that implementation, and here's my laundry list of all the other stuff that needs to be done so that I, in finance, can do what I need to do, or me in marketing, or me in service contracts, you know, to do what needs to be done. The same thing with a lot of retail organizations is that many functional groups, not just warranty or service contract program managers, really are hampered by the limitations of these large, complex, often antiquated ERP systems. And a lot of the functional managers, the operating staff, they know what they'd like to do, but it's a kind of almost a pipe dream. And so this approach of using now, fast forward to this century with these cloud-based solutions that are very flexible, and with teams like ours that are virtual that can be brought in, all of a sudden within that warranty functional department, those managers can actually do what they know they really need to do to grow their programs without waiting for that gigantic monstrosity of an ERP overhaul to occur.
And this was a major shift for PCMI. We, though we started the company in 2012, it was only 2 years ago that we had this epitome that really what our customers wanted to do was focus on return on investments. That these massive, and we still do big ERP replacements, but when we tell people, look, some of that logic in the ERP system was built over 15 years by a bunch of people that may not even still be in your organization, right? And really what you're trying to do is you're trying to give all this uplift of enhanced customer support, and you want to do it now. So let us attach. We can actually attach to existing ERP systems, interface. And some of these can be mainframes, they can be Oracle, they can be an SAP, they can be whatever platform you have, but let us focus on the benefit. Let's focus on getting a customer experience. Let's focus on getting that huge return on investment, right? And it's really, I think it's really advanced a lot for the organizations we're trying to service.
Yeah, and then Mark, if when we're talking about ROI, you think about some of these large ERP systems that larger manufacturers and retailers use, and every ERP system seems to have some sort of a warranty module, and other functional modules for other parts of the organization, and that initially when I started to look at some of those in my previous life got me excited, but when you dig into it, you realize that it's a mile wide and a foot deep, where the functionality that myself as a warranty manager at a manufacturer or a service contract program manager at a retailer, the functionality that I need really isn't there. They did their best, the ERP group, but they really didn't have a subject matter expert to get deep enough into knowing what real functionalities are required. And that's another benefit of a quicker solution, like what we're talking about, is I can get right to the functionality I need, because your platform and how we've inserted it into ours is so functionally deep. It allows for a lot of flexibility.
Well, and we got over 150 technicians focused on just this one piece, right? Which is making sure that you're compliant, you have the flexibility, and again, that we can attach to something that's already there. So, I thought maybe talk about providing, the range of automation, right? That you can take a piece of what you're trying to do, right? And then streamline that piece, right? And look at it as a building block approach. Right? Again, you got your people, your process, your technology, and think about stuff that can adapt into your current environment and give it this major uplift. Okay. So Rob, this is your solution portfolio, right? So if we talk a little bit about, we're going to go through and talk about the different aspects of the solution portfolio, because I've had people say, well, you're talking just extended warranty, right? I'm like, no, we can do this with OEM. We can do this with service fulfillment. And so what I'd like to do is walk through and touch some of these pieces. And then again, for people that want to ask a question, just go ahead and put your question into the Q&A section, and we'll do a Q&A review at the end. So Rob, do you want to talk about this service wheel?
Yeah, just a little bit about this, how we came up with this in the first place is the principals and many of our key employees here at OnPoint, like myself, have spent time with a variety of manufacturing organizations working within the ranks, and also with several different retailers. Some of our other individuals have come from companies, other warranty platforms, not like yours, but like dispatch functionality and other technical specifics that are needed. Some of our folks also have a service background, so parts and labor repair and running service networks. And so we when we formed OnPoint, we didn't want to just form another kind of a service contract, what are called a TPA. We wanted to really reimagine the kind of service and support and needs that a manufacturer or retailer would have, including service contracts, but really beyond that. So that was really the birth of this wheel. And sitting in those chairs prior, I as a warranty manager within a manufacturer, I need help with my OEM warranty. There are things that I want to do that I can't do. Maybe my counterpart in the service contract business, there are things that he or she knows what they want to do to boost their program revenues, but they have internal constraints. There are also other connected functions within a retail or a manufacturing organization that dovetail and support these warranty managers, such as the logistics. By that I mean parts management and getting depot or advanced exchange product where they need to go back and forth to customers or to the repair centers. And then service fulfillment, the on-site service capability. What is that capability? So we really wanted to bring to a manufacturer or a retailer a full suite of support. So no matter what the problem was, not just service contract related, but something related to warranty or service, we could help them solve it. So that was kind of the impetus for this wheel, and kind of going around the wheel. If you think about OEM warranty administration, many manufacturers are beginning to look at that line, that warranty reserve line on the balance sheet, and many of the smart CFOs realize that there can be a lot of risk in that line. It's not nailed down. It could go up, it could go down. There are a lot of different factors that could affect it. And we're seeing a lot of manufacturers look at that line and deciding to take a look at insuring the warranty risk and getting rid of that warranty reserve line and exchanging it for another expense line on the P&L, which is insurance premium. So helping warranty departments within manufacturers step into that really discovery of, does it make sense to insure my manufacturer's warranty risk or not? In some cases it does, in others it doesn't. But how do I make that decision? That's part of what we get into sometimes when we open up and try to solve a problem for a manufacturer or a retailer. Other things like you see listed here, for example, we're working with a manufacturer right now who has a specific issue with their customer service piece. And so we're trying to help them with that only. But this is a really good case study with respect to helping a manufacturer with the administration of their manufacturer's warranty. This is an OEM that manufactures data center equipment for data server farms. They manufacture it and distribute it globally. We're working with them to build a full suite of warranty management capabilities. And they basically said, hey, this is, we're a new next-gen data center company. We haven't been around for a long time. We know the kind of warranty program we need, but we don't want to spin up an ERP system, a warranty module off of an ERP system. We don't have parts houses. We don't have an authorized service network. Yeah, we'll look at ensuring that manufacturers' risk. So we've really helped this OEM pretty quickly stand up a global world-class OEM warranty and service contract program on their next-gen data center equipment. And this equipment is being put in to all the large server farms literally around the world. And so we're able to stand up an OEM warranty program without that OEM needing to have all of the infrastructure that a lot of OEMs who've been around for a long time have.
So there's several things I like about this slide, Rob. First of all, I think a lot of people, and I've been coming to warranty chain management for a long time. And, I would even see in a room sometimes we'd take the extended and go to one track and the OEM would go to the other track. But what's common about this is it's a way for you to mitigate your risk and a way for you to take advantage of an international tax structure with taking some of this money and making it more of an insurance reserve right? And you can actually do this cross-country, but more importantly, you can drive revenue. Traditionally, warranty is an expense line, right? And obviously, it is an expense, but when you take all that data and you use that data to farm, that then you can say, look, not only do we understand how the product's performing, but the same data is then useful to go back to our customers and use it to help sell them an extended warranty to cover it after, right? And the more you can use one piece of software in different areas, the better your return on investment, right? And so, I like how you laid this out, right? Then, and Rob, time, was this a 2-year effort, a 6-month effort? What kind of an effort was this case study?
It was less than a year, and our tech stack, of course, as you know, includes PCRS. There are other elements to our tech stack, all of which are cloud-based. Our front-end agent system that can get a Facebook message, a text message, an email, a phone call. Customers want all those capabilities, so we had to create a system that plugged into yours that allowed an agent to field an inquiry from anybody, from any source. Right. Those are API connected and working well today. And then other API connections, it's the great thing about the world of the cloud world is that, we can put together a variety of systems that do specific functionalities and link them all together with APIs. We're all API connected with the service organizations that run the calls, API connected with the parts houses. So it is possible to take an OEM like this who hasn't been around forever, they don't have any systems, they're just getting started, and stand up a full warranty team in a department without deploying an ERP system.
We've literally gone from millions of dollars in deployments to hundreds of thousands of dollars in deployments. Yes. Because it comes with a cloud-based architecture and solution. Obviously, that can vary, some larger projects or more. But, when I first started going to warranty chain management about 2005, and you think that even with inflation, you're 15% of a deployment cost as compared to what used to be, I think is really amazing, right? And then obviously, Rob, we have the extended warranty and service contract programs.
Yeah, that's something else, just another part of the ask that we sometimes get when a manufacturer or a retailer comes to us. Sometimes it's just the manufacturer's warranty program that we're helping them with, and sometimes it's a slice of that. But oftentimes we'll get requests in more than one of these areas. Extended warranties is another, and I'd like to go right to the case study a bit about that one. This is an example of a major national retailer. They're billions of dollars in top-line revenue with thousands of locations, and they have had a fairly robust service contract revenue program for many years, and they were operating the program really within the standard structures that our industry puts out. Things like service contracts that are based on the price of the product. Maybe if you're buying a product from this retailer anywhere from $14 to $60, then here's your 2-year service contract price, and then here's your 3-year. And then if it's $61 to $150, then here's your 2-year price, and here's your 3-year price. And these price tiers that we all operate in, if you think about it, there are some gigantic inherent inefficiencies in those price tiers. If I'm a customer and I come into the store and I want to buy a $60 item and my 2-year contract is $299, that's a great deal. Excuse me. But if I come into the store and I want to buy a $14 item and my 2-year contract is that same price, it's not such a good deal. And there are these inherent efficiencies within these price tiers that the whole service contract industry operates in. And this retailer said, we want to do things differently. We want to blow up those price tiers. We don't want them anymore. And we want to price our ESPs based on another factor, based on primarily on the product price, a percent of the product price. There's some other factors in there too. but getting that very granular. There were some studies that were done that showed the price sensitivity of the customer. Again, on that $60 item, I'll buy that $2.99 2-year ESP every day of the week. The $14 customer, I'm probably never going to buy or very rarely buy that $2.99. So a very price-sensitive customer on these peripheral things that you buy after you buy the product. And so we were able to optimize that ESP pricing, blow up those price tiers completely, and look at the individual product and optimize that price that way. All of a sudden, the attach rates literally overnight went up. The incremental revenue started showing up the next day, and the retailer no longer needed the gigantic brochures that they were producing by the millions and shipping them to all of these stores. The stores didn't need the brochures anymore. They basically, yeah.
Yeah, it's one thing to have an extended warranty program. It's completely different to have one that the customer like and it has a high penetration rate, right?
Yeah.
So, you have to really take some time to design it to make sure it fits with your, I call it the methodology of the company. What you're really trying to do is maintain that customer for life. You're trying to make sure that this customer has a good experience with your product. He gets a good value for what he's paying to the point where when he gets another one, he wants to repeat the experience. Right? And, so we've seen people that without really doing this analysis and without going through the different parts they had in the previous slide, they say they have a program, but it's hardly used, right? And what ends up happening is their own customers buy somebody else's program, So I think this is something that, people, pay better attention to. But again, what kind of time frame was this? Was this 2 years, 6 months, 9 months? How long was this, Rob?
That's, again, under a year.
Under a year, right? And again, attaching to a lot of things they already had, but giving them a better process and something more targeted to what was beneficial to the consumer. Okay, and then logistics. Do you want to talk about logistics?
Yep, logistics, because we have several people that have held key positions at manufacturers and in charge of service networks and parts networks. We have deep experience with just block and tackle logistics. Warehousing and shipping, salvage and disposal, those kinds of things, returns, processing. And we have a manufacturing client that doesn't want any help with any of the other two arrows. They just needed a solution to process returns of items that their systems were not really, like a new product line that they were getting into, and their systems were not set up to handle this new product line because it was so different than what they traditionally have sold. So we stood up and have already launched a returns processing capability for this manufacturer to handle this product that kind of didn't fit within their existing processes. And that's up and running. That was probably, I think you're going to ask again, what was the time frame on it? That was more like a 3 to 6 month project.
But I think those are great time frames. I mean, how many times have we seen these massive projects to do major things and they just get bogged down, and then people are afraid to talk about the return on investment, right? Mm-hmm. But on the salvage and disposal, so this is actually replacing a similar like item. Is this sort of like a replacement item that was happening?
Yeah, these are shippable items. They're coming back to our depot facility, getting refurbished and repaired. Some are trashed, so they have to be disposed and salvaged based on environmental rules and regulations. But this is nothing to do with a manufacturer's warranty or an extended warranty, but just block and tackle assistance with logistics, and that was a fun project.
But it does certainly put you in a position to go back and talk about the others,
Surely.
Okay. The service fulfillment?
Oftentimes, again, if you think about sitting in that warranty manager's chair within the manufacturer, this is another area that sometimes a manufacturing client or prospect will come to us with is, gee, I have everything set up, I have everything I need for these first 3 arrows, but I really need help building a service network, or my warranty recalls are a mess. I need help with that. We had one manufacturer, actually a a warranty recall company on behalf of a manufacturer, come to us and just ask us to build a service network for this enormous national warranty recall on some equipment inside of tens of thousands of homes nationwide. And all they wanted us to do was build the service network and then dispatch those warranty recalls. And that was something we thought we can do that. We've never done that before, but our systems are flexible enough where we can solve that problem. That was probably more like another 3 to 6 month piece, and we're in the middle. We've actually had 3 more projects from the same result, and all we're doing is standing up a service network and dispatching lots of calls to them.
So, one of the things, it took us years to build that section of the software, right? Because when we first got into service network support, what we didn't really understand was the tracking of the licensing of the people, right? For some servicers, if you're going to dispatch them to home, you have to know, are they on a sex offender registry? Do they have the proper insurance? When does insurance expire? So you have to be able to build a complete profile of the servicer in terms of what their actual business. Then you have to build out an area of what are they allowed to fix? How are they certified to fix it? What is their skill set to fix it? Then you have to track all the pricing. How do they charge for doing their services and what their service areas? And then once you get all that done, you turn around and they say, yeah, but except in this state or for this customer base, they already have a preferred service network. And there, versus you having all that logic, they want you to talk to the system, another system that has those individuals. Right, so I think it's the ability to build a service network support for both internally defined as well as externally defined, and then having the interface with all those other systems that may have that external.
Yep, and then building a service network is, historically in the past has been very manual. You have to contact them. You have to get them to sign up forms. They have to send forms in. You have to load the data, load their coverage rates and everything in the database. Very, very manual process, and we were just not able, we didn't have the time to do that. So we literally said we have to automate the ability from the time that you send somebody a servicer, until their contract is signed all the way until their rates are loaded into the system. We pretty much have to automate that in order to get this warranty recall thing done. So, necessity is the mother of invention. So now our servicer onboarding process is highly automated and isn't as manual as it used to be, which is great.
Well, when people ask me how is consumer warranty and home warranty so different than auto warranty, typically in auto warranty, everybody goes to a repair shop. When you got a refrigerator, you got to repair. Nobody's going to bring the refrigerator in. You got to get the servicer to that person, right? So the one thing we spent a lot of time on is all the service network support, but as much time we spent on having that capability, the other thing we found out is that sometimes the customer, there's maybe certain makes and models of certain things, they only want their individual service techs to support. So how do you have a system that can do both is where we feel we've tried to crack the nut, right?
Yeah.
Where you can run a single service network support structure that handles both internally defined service network people as well as external, and have all that automated logic that tells the CSR which way it should go without them having to look it up. I think was a big piece for us to try and figure out. And
exactly.
And then so this was your case.
That was the case study. We've already talked about it.
Okay.
We're on project number 3 for this recall company, so I guess we're doing something right.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And then finally, the last section was service administration technology.
And that's kind of like the fifth category that we thought of when we were trying to think of, what have manufacturers come to us asking help with? This is like the 5th section, and it may be, the OEM might come and say, look, I have everything in place around this wheel. I have my own call center. I have my own parts place. I've got service network authorized, and that's humming, and all the training's working, the logistics, I have everything, but the only thing that I need is for my agents, like a flexible system for them to use. I cannot afford to wait for the next ERP overhaul in order to get my agents on a better platform. And so if you go to the case study on this one, is really taking the OnPoint platform, which includes PCRS and some of these other tools that I mentioned, the agent tool, multiple dispatch platforms, and really kind of serving that whole thing up to an OEM so they can use it in their shop. And they have everything else that they need.
So for the audience, PCMI is the name of the company. Our software suite we call PCRS, which is Policy Claims Reporting Solutions. But for the last 2 years, we've offered it both in a SaaS solution. Rob really uses it what we call as a platform as a service. And as a platform as a service has become more and more popular, that's what lets you bolt into an existing OEM system. It lets him also add other software solutions on top of us to actually have a total solution for his customer. And there's things we want to focus on, which we want to focus on making sure that we're giving our customers a platform that they can build. But if somebody already has a great dispatch suite, we will interface to it, right? If they got a service network suite, we interface to it, right? I think some of the unique things we do is we do all the compliance rules, all the insurance rules, all the extended warranty rules. But it's this idea of having a flexible platform that you could rapidly we call 6 months to a year, be in production to solve one of these major 5 pieces of the wheel without having to go to your board and say, we need a massive budget to replace everything. Yeah. Now, we love those massive budgets, by the way, let's be clear. We love massive budgets too, but even when I get those, I say, well, can we get one thing done in 6 to 9 months? Because, when you're our customer and you look like a hero, we get a lot more work. So we put a lot of focus on trying to have something in and something running, right? And it's been a great relationship, right?
Yes, it has.
Okay. So what we're going to do is I thought we'd go through the Q&A section and see what questions people have, right? And so what you do is go up to that Q&A box and you can answer some questions. Some people, have put some stuff in the chat. So let me try and go through a couple of those, Rob, and okay. What types of tools do you use to manage third-party contractors to ensure a positive customer experience, right? So I'll try the beginning of that. So first of all, the PCRS system comes with a website that a servicer can actually pick up their jobs, bid on getting the work done, track what it is. And then we also have interfaces to tools that actually run customer surveys that actually ask the customer, was the contractor on time? Was the work done to your liking? Actually run the survey side of it. And then a major thing is tracking. Does the customer call up within 30 or 60 days? And we have to re-dispatch another person to do the same job. Rob, do you want to expand upon that?
I think, that's one of the real tricks is managing third-party contractors. If it's not an OEM authorized network, it's tougher. But, the answer is multiple tools are needed to really manage that contractor to make sure that they actually did the work, that they did it well, that they wrapped up the job, they presented themselves the way that was necessary. And we use a variety of tools. We use a multivariate scoring mechanism that scores every service provider that we send work to along about 5 different factors. And Mark, you gave some of them, such as what the customer said, our own internal tracking metrics, and other tools as well. It's not too complicated, but it is at least, it's necessary, I think, to manage a third-party contractor using at least 4 or 5 factors and tools.
Great. What type of warranty performance indicators and predictors are available to support management decisions? So I think I can tell you the things we look at is we look at failure codes. We call them loss codes, right? When we compare the current frequency versus expected. So one of the things you can do in the system is you can build out a budget of what you think. Let's say you've got a 3-year manufacturer's warranty. You can actually allocate for every single product the amount of money that you thought you were going to need to cover that product over that 3-year warranty. Then we compare the frequency, which is the number of actual repairs compared to what was projected. Then you have the severity, which is how much the repair cost, right? Then we take that allocated revenue. One of the things we do, and we do this because on the insurance side, you have to do it. We're sort of shocked more people on the manufacturers don't do it, is you can actually build what we call a lost revenue line of what is your projected use of those funds versus your actual. And then you can compare that in a ratio we call a loss ratio. So over 100% means you're burning through that money much faster than you projected. Less than 100% means you're pretty much on the positive side of what you projected, right? So you can spend a lot of time putting together your assumptions and then comparing those assumptions, and then you can slice and dice that by geography, by seller, by repairer. That's one of the ways we catch a lot of repair fraud. When one of those indicators is outside a statistical norm, it just means you need to do more research. You know, sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean there's fraud, but it's more of an indicator. Rob, what are some of the other ones that you've seen?
Well, this is a really good question, and you know, our industry has talked a lot about the connected home for years, and you know, IoT data, machine performance data, and how is that going to affect warranty program performance? We actually have a customer now that is passing us IoT data from them, or the machine is passing us data through a software provider, I guess, and we're actually getting live failure codes from live machines, and you know, that can be a mess of data. Like, what do you do with all of this?
Massive amounts of data.
Yeah, and so we've had to very quickly, in short order, figure out a way to take in this IoT data and really isolate the data that we're working with, and what's really important, and what are those failure codes that we're getting. And then we built a matrix that said, you know, here's failure code F1 through F100, and then what does the manufacturer want to happen when an F1 comes in? Is it a phone call to a service provider? Is it a text to the customer? Is it an automated dispatch? Is it an automated part order? And then what is the sequence of each of those events by failure code? And to handle this project, we literally have built a failure code consumer that takes in all this stuff and then racks and stacks it, and then runs a relevant code through this list of actions that get automatically kind of kicked off, if you will. So that's a huge break this will be a huge break for a lot of manufacturers, where if they learn how to use and capture that IoT performance data, it can really revolutionize the ability to think about warranty performance indicators, and especially this word predictors. Some of these failure codes are not failure codes, they're predictor codes. Like, we think this pump is about, the machine thinks the pump is about to go. Well, right. What do you do with that? So we're really entering into the kind of the new century, the Wild West of IoT data, and well, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, one of the things I'm really proud of, and I'm really proud of our teams, they put a lot of work into thinking about how does the customer see the problem? So, we call them call avoids, used to call them call avoids. So when a customer calls in and says, well, here's what I think is the problem, what are the most common things you can do to avoid having to dispatch a person to fix it? What can you tell the consumer to do, or what can you reassure the consumer to do, or can you even ship something for the consumer to do versus having a service tech? But I think tracking all that is really important to make sure that your customers have the best customer experience. It's just not about, that's where frequency, even though you might have a low severity with that, a low cost claim, because they resolve a lot of things, you were still an interruption to a customer. So what can you do in your product design, and what can you do in your future product designs to minimize that? And one of the things I think that we've seen done, which we don't really understand why people aren't more doing it, you can actually, in the same database, we can actually put your manufacturer's claims with your extended claims. So now you get to see another 3 to 4 years of device history and device experience than if you have the manufacturer's data sitting in some ERP system and you got all your extended in some other system. Because, we all love products that perform, and the better the product that performs, the longer we can provide good coverage for longer periods of time, right? I think the one major shift is a lot of times people are worried about the bill of material and finding the causal part, and all that's important. But I also want to look at it from the customer's perspective and how do they see the item performing, and what is it from their experience, right? In addition to an engineering aspect. Okay. Do you have any warranty cost claim comp projection tools? And the answer is absolutely, right? I mean, we're processing billions of dollars of claims today at PCMI. We use our PCR software to do that. There's a whole group of people we call actuaries who help on all these projections, and we work with all the major firms. And it's at a level, such a high level, Rob will tell you that they'll even, these insurance companies, they'll take the risk. They feel folks so comfortable once having all that data and analyze it through our system. They're willing to participate in the risk of those costs. Rob, you want to talk about actually insuring it and taking it off balance?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like what you said, Mark. Our insurance partners, of which we have several really strong ones. If the insurer in the mix is comfortable with the tech platform that's being used to capture all the warranty cost data, then there's a huge level of confidence that goes up, whether the manufacturer wants to insure their OEM warranty risk or whether it's the extended warranty risk. Having tools like this, we have to remember that the insurer has to be comfortable and confident with what the manufacturer and the system provider like your company and an administrator like us, what everybody's doing, because that determines the results. Is the insurer going to lose their shirts, or are they going to win? And so having a system like this that collects the right data that they can look at anytime they want is a huge advantage.
Right. And there's a question from Lewis. Do you have experience with the automotive tier 1 companies? And one of the reasons we really wanted Rob is warranty chain management. We focus a lot on consumer electronics and home warranty, but PCMI, we've had press releases. I mean, actually Nissan, Infiniti, and Mitsubishi, we have as a global customer, right? So more than happy, just contact us directly. And we have extreme in-depth experience with the automotive sector as well. And then follow-up question, we really charge for our software based upon usage. We don't have a cost per user because we're like in over about 30,000 retail locations between automotive, and I think we're in 175,000 repair facilities today where the actual repair technicians sign into the system. But a lot of times we're behind the scenes. Customers know our solution because of Rob, right? They know they're accessing the endpoints. So Rob has extended our platform. Other TPAs have extended our platform. And then Rob, I mean, when you charge for your services, I mean, I think you're more volume based as well, right? I don't think there's a user cost, is there?
If the manufacturer or the retailer client has a structure by which they want to pay for the services, whether it's by user or by the activity, we're pretty flexible with how we charge. We'll typically start there is how do you want to pay for it, and then we'll go from there.
So Rob's contact information and mine is on our individual slides. Feel free to reach out to us. Kate is giving me a nice nudge that we've run out of time. I guess I get excited and I keep talking, so I apologize. But Kate, do you want to take back?
Thanks so much, Mark and Rob. That was fantastic. So to our attendees, we look forward to seeing you all back here at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific for State of the Warranty Industry Address by Eric Arnhem of Warranty Week. Thanks so much and see you all back here soon.